Hi everyone, welcome to Everyday Excel channel. I am Rama Chiroke. Today's video is about the if function and its applications. We will go through understanding the if function, understanding logical function with one expression, logical function with more than one expression, managing the efficient by zero errors, nested if function, the and or or functions with if functions. Let's get started. The if function is a function that helps in making decisions. It is a function that has been defined to enable decision-making capabilities. Let's take a look at this range of data to illustrate further. Now, let's assume your company sells cars, and this is the sales target for each car, and this is the amount that has been sold for each car. Now, your company wants to make a decision of either producing more of the cars that their sales amount is greater than the sales target and producing less of the other cars. Now, the if function in Excel can make that decision for you because that is what it is defined for. Return one value for a condition you specify if it evaluates to be true or false. Now, it contains three arguments, which is the logical test, value if true, and value if false. The logical test refers to an expression that can be evaluated to be true or false, or better still, let's say our condition. Value if true refers to text or string to be displayed if logical test is true. Value if false refers to text or string to be displayed if logical test is false. Now let's apply the if function. To apply the if function in Excel, go to the preferred cell and type equals to and then if as a word. Then you can open the bracket or press tab. Now the syntax will pop up, which is the logical test, the value if true, and the value if false. Our logical test here, which is our condition, is for the sales amount to be greater than the sales target so that we can make our decision. So that is the sales amount being greater than the sales target, comma. And the beauty of this if function is that it allows you to express yourself in any way. I mean, you can put in whichever word you want, but if the value you are putting in is in form of a text, you need to quote it first. So I can put in the word promote to promote whichever car that their sales amount is greater than the sales target. Then you quote it back and then comma. Our value if false can be it should drop whichever car that their sales amount is less than the sales target. So I'll put in the word drop. Remember to always quote your text and then enter. Now it gave us the value drop because our sales amount is less than the sales target. 109 to 50 is less than 279 170. Now we can copy the formula to the other cells by dragging down. And that is it. The if function has made that decision for us. Now we know whichever car we want to promote and whichever car we want to drop. Now let's learn how to manage division by zero error. For this exercise, we want to get the profit margin for the sales in this month. And we can do that by putting in the if formula, which is equals to if, then tab, or you can open your bracket. Then our logical test here will be our profits divided by the sales to get the profit margin. Our value if true, we want it to return the percent, that is the profit margin. So for the value if true, we will type in the profit margin again, which is profit divided by sales. Then for our value if false, we will type in no sales, that is if there is no profit there, it should bring out no sales. And then you can close the bracket and press enter. Now you can copy the formula to the other cells by double clicking. And here it is. It has brought out the profit margin for all the months. Now we notice an error here. Let's see what Excel has to say about it. Excel said the formula of function used is dividing by zero or empty cell. We have the profit figure here but we don't have any figure for sales. Now it means we are dividing something by zero. We are dividing the profit by zero, and that is why it brought out this error, which is called the division by zero error. Now I will correct this by writing the formula, and that is equals to if, then tab. In this case, our logical test will be that if the sales is equal to nothing, comma, our value is true. If my sales have no figure, then there should be no sales. That means there was no sales for that month. But if my sales has a figure, then it should bring out the profit margin for me, which is the profit divided by the sales. And then we can close the bracket and press enter. Now we can copy the formula to the other cells by dragging down. And here it is. It has cleared the division by zero error. And that is how to manage a division by zero error. Now let's move to the next part, which is the nested if function. The nested if function is a function that contains multiple if functions. To work with this function, select the preferred cell and then type in the if formula, which is equals to if, then tab. For the logical test here, since we want to get the grade for each student according to their score, then we would say that if this score is equal to this score, we would have to log this other score because we don't want it to move to the next score in the grade table. So I will use the F4 function key to lock it. Comma, my value if true will be the grade. That is, if this score is equal to this score, then it should give me this grade. I'll lock it again. Now for nested if function, we don't have value if false. What we will do is to write the formula for the next score under the value if false. So it will be comma, if formula, then tab. Then our logical test will be this score again. If it is equal to this score, the next score in the grade table, then you have to lock it with the F4 function key. Comma, it should give me this grade. You have to lock it. Comma, then if again. Logical test will be if this score is equal to this score, you have to lock it, comma, then give me this grade. Lock it. Comma, if again, then tab. If this score is equal to this score, you have to lock it. Always remember to lock it. Then you have this grade. Comma, and then the last one, if this score is equal to this score, lock it, comma, then give me this grade, and then you can press enter. And that is it. We've gotten the grade for each student. You can double click here to copy the formula down to other cell. Now let's take a look at the formula we typed, and we can do that by pressing the formula key equals to formula text tab, and we'll make reference to the grade, to the formula we want to see. Enter. Then we can double click. Okay, now let me move it down here for better viewing. And yes, we can see that the nested if function is a bit bulky. I mean, typing this long formula is a little bit of a stress. But another formula has taken its place, which is called the VLOOKUP formula, and that will be explained in my subsequent videos. Here comes another exercise, which comprises of using the AND function with if function and multiple expression. The question is, say you may want to grant credit to a customer based on meeting two conditions. One is sales must exceed 5 million, which is one expression, and another is that credit rating must exceed 3 out of 5, which is another expression, and that makes multiple expression. Now we go to the preferred cell and put in our formula, and that is equals to if, then tab. Now for the logical test, we will put in the AND function, which is AND, then tab. Our condition 1 is that sales must exceed 5 million. Sales must exceed 5 million. Condition 2 is that credit rating must exceed 3 out of 5. Our condition 2 is that credit rating must exceed 3 out of 5. And then we can close the bracket since we have just two conditions, comma. Our value if true here can be, let's say, grant. Remember, we have to quote before we put in any text. Cut it back, then comma. And our value if false can be decline. Close the bracket and then press enter. And here it is. It has declined the first customer since the sales volume is not greater than 5 million naira. And now we can copy down the formula to the other cells. And it has made that decision for us. Now we know those we want to grant credit to and those that we wouldn't grant credit to. The difference between the and or function is that only one condition has to be satisfied. You don't need to satisfy the two conditions at a time. Let's take a look at this example. It says customers will grant credit when any of the condition is present. Just one condition has to be present, which are sales volume must exceed 5 million. The other is that credit rating must exceed 3 out of 5. Now let's apply it. We have equals to if, then tab. The logical test this time around will be or function, which is or, then tab. And our logical one is that sales volume must exceed 5 million. Our logical 2 is that credit rating must exceed 3. And then we can close the bracket and then comma. Our value if true, let's say grant. Remember to quote. And our value if false, let's say decline. And then we can close the bracket and press enter. And then you can highlight all the cells and press Ctrl D to copy the formula down. And with this, we have come to the end of today's video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe to get more of my videos. Thank you and bye bye.